Hello, this is Jesus Manuel Mena Garza. How you doing? Today I'm going to describe my experience as an individual who lived in the San Francisco Bay Area and why I moved to Dallas-Fort Worth and why anyone would move to Texas. This is a view across the street to the little pond. There are a lot of ponds in Texas. They create these ponds because of flooding, and the soil doesn't absorb the water as readily as other parts of the country, so they have to create these ponds to collect it and then send it to the local tributary of the Trinity River, and then it goes out to the bay towards Houston and the Gulf of Mexico. So there are quite a few ducks out here in my pond. They really enjoy it. They get well fed by the local visitors, so it's a nice little pond. No boating on this pond. Essentially, people are fishing for various carp or bass or smallmouths and perch and stuff like that. A lot of people come down there. I would not eat anything from this pond. You don't know what's in that pond. That might cause you some damage. So let me talk about why people move to Texas. Some people move to Texas because they love Texas. They've always wanted to live here. They live in places like Minnesota or Michigan, where it gets very cold. You know, it's very cold down there during the winter, and they said, I'm finally fed up with these cold winters, and I'm going to move to somewhere in the South. And a lot of them move to Texas. We get quite a few transplants from the northern states, states that, again, get quite cold during the winter. It does get quite cold here also in Texas. In fact, it snows here once in a while during the winter, and also the roads get a little bit icy. It does get icy, and the crews here don't do much for the local residents. In regards to clearing off the snow or the ice, they work mainly on the main streets, the main drags. So I've had experiences where, I woke up in the morning, there's ice on the road, and I don't want to drive. I don't even want to walk. And it's 4 blocks away to the main drag, and I'm essentially stuck. So in Texas, it does get a little icy once in a while, especially in the northern communities like Dallas-Fort Worth. But it's not as bad as, for example, Fargo or International Falls or Minneapolis and places like that. So people move down here for that reason. And I understand totally. Yeah, come on down here. And they want to move to Texas because they love warmer weather. And if you like warm weather, it gets hot during the summer. Right now it's about 100 degrees. It's July in 2017. It's muy caliente, muy caliente. It's sizzling, and it's going to be hot for several more weeks. And it was hot last week and the week before that. So it gets hot down here. If you like hot weather, you came to the right place. Another reason to come to Texas, probably the number one reason, a rational reason, a really good reason, is because you found a job in Texas. You got a job in high tech, you got a job in clerical work, you got a job as an instructor. And that's the example for me. My wife, who was a professor in California, got a job here at one of the universities to head one of the departments, so she's also teaching, and she's also a professor. That is the only reason we came to Texas. Again, because my wife got a job that paid very well. And they needed somebody from California to come to Texas and help out. And a lot of people come to Texas from California and from other states because there are jobs here. And why are there jobs here? Well, Texas, the state of Texas, is willing to bribe corporations, companies to come here. They'll give them free land, give them no taxes hardly, and say, you come down here and employ some of our locals and transplants, and we'll give you free stuff. And people get free stuff all the time. A lot of big companies from California are moving down here because, again, it's cheap. It's inexpensive. If you have your business in Silicon Valley and properties are worth millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, and you come down here and they get free stuff, why not? And you got incentives. You don't have to pay taxes, and your employees can move down here and buy a house for $200,000-$300,000, and it's a 3,000 square foot house in a nice subdivision in communities that are quite nice. There's some communities here which are quite beautiful, like Frisco, and they're all quite nice, especially north of Dallas. They're quite nice. And there's some neighborhoods here in Fort Worth that are absolutely gorgeous, and so they're very nice communities, and people love it. When you live in San Jose, my family lives in San Jose. They just all happen to be multimillionaires now because they've bought property in the 60s and 70s for $6,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, and now that property is worth millions. It's amazing. My family's doing so well down there. My daughters, my brothers and sisters, my relatives are all doing very well down there. And it's because they bought property when it was cheap. You know, it was cheap as it was in Texas. But now Texas is cheap. California is not, especially San Jose, San Francisco, you know, those communities, Palo Alto, the list goes on, Los Gatos. It's all expensive. It's all expensive. So you sell what you got down there, or if you're renting, you're paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to rent in Silicon Valley or San Francisco. You move down here, you can buy a house, make a $1,000 a month payment on it, or even an $800 a month payment. You got a nice house in the burbs where you can have your dog, you can have your cat, you can have your pets, you can have whatever you want. And your kids can go to some decent schools down here. Not the greatest schools. There's certain neighborhoods which have schools that are in the 10, you know, 10s. They are A+, like the Tanglewood neighborhood here in Fort Worth near Texas Christian University. That school district is a 10. But closer to certain other neighborhoods, they're 4s, 3s, and 2s, according to research. So people come down here because of their job. My wife did that. You know, that's the only reason we left California. The third reason is because it's cheap to live here. You retire, you sell your house in Silicon Valley for $800,000, $1.5 million, or whatever you're going to sell it for. You move down here, you buy yourself a nice house. You can live in one of the nicer neighborhoods here and buy a $300,000 house. And with the rest of your money, you put in the bank and you pay your bills. You go do some traveling. You go to Europe. And when it gets hot here, you go to Denver. You go to, you get in your RV, you go somewhere. It's inexpensive to live here. So that's one of the main reasons a lot of people move down here. We got a lot of retirees, especially in South Texas. They just, they rent a small condo down there and they just live the life. They just sit on the patio, going to the community swimming pool, and they play shuffleboard, play tennis, go golfing. The list goes on and on and on. Things to do. If I could, and this is my final point, if I could, I'd have stayed in California. Why? I give you the 50-60 mile rule. Within 50 or 60 miles of Fort Worth, you got more of Fort Worth. Essentially, you got ranch land, you got lakes, you got rivers, you got no mountains, you got no beaches, you got nothing. It's all the same. You can go shopping, you can hang out with your buds in the pool, have a barbecue, do that stuff. If you have a family, you can have familial activities, which are A++, and plus. Family's the best. But you'd have to travel hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of miles to go anywhere that has a mountain or a hill, or to a beach. Anywhere cool during the summer. But again, if you saved all that money from moving from Silicon Valley, you can go. You can get in your RV, you can get an airplane, you can go do something fun with that cash that you saved. Compare that to San Jose, California, where I grew up. My parents bought a house down there. They were farm workers. They bought a house for $6,000, which is now worth $800,000. That's crazy. They bought it in the 50s. So my brothers and sisters all enjoy the great weather down there. My wife's down there currently giving a lecture at one of the universities and participating on panels and stuff. She's been down there 3 times this summer. I'm so jealous. So within 60 miles of San Jose, you can go to San Francisco. Go shopping. Go to the Golden Gate Bridge. It's cool down there. You can go to the mountains of Santa Cruz. That's only like 20 miles away. You can go to the mountains and it's nice and cool and pleasant. Go another 5 miles, go 25 miles, and you're at the beaches in Santa Cruz and Capitola. It's fabulous. More diversity. That's why it's more expensive to live there. The current temperature in San Francisco is 70 degrees. The current temperature in San Jose is 80 degrees. The current temperature in Fort Worth and Dallas is 100 plus degrees, and it ain't going to change. So this is my little presentation on why people move to DFW from California. My name is Jesus Manuel Mena Garza. My website is www.jmmgarza.com. Check it out. Please subscribe and like and share and all that sort of good stuff. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And of course, you can always leave comments and support my photography via Patreon. I will leave links in the description. Go there. Thank you. So that's the end of my video. Gracias. Adios. Bye-bye.